Good morning, everyone. While we continue our golf series, I think it's time we start something new that we announced recently, that being our playthrough of Final Fantasy IV.
And with a new Final Fantasy game, we've decided to add yet another character to join us on our playthrough.
Oh, I didn't know we were even playing a game. Who is here with us?
Please welcome 43rd President of the United States, George Bush.
Hey, what's up, guys? I don't really know what a Final Fantasy is, but I'm happy to be here.
I can explain Final Fantasy is a franchise by Square Enix, and this is the fourth entry. This is actually the second game in the series that people in America played, as the second and third games were only released in Japan.
But why are we doing the fourth one right after the first one is done?
We actually did play the second and third games. You just slept through those.
No, you didn't, although I think that would be realistic. This one is the game I'm most familiar with out of all of them. And I don't think the other two are going to be as entertaining, but that could change in the future. This is the beginning of much more important characters in the franchise, as Cecil Harvey is the Dark Knight we follow for the game. Right now, he is the captain of the Red Wings, stealing the crystal from a town called Mysidia. He is visibly upset at having to follow his orders, but had to follow them.
Did that clear it up for you at all?
Not all that much, but honestly, as long as we're all playing together, then that's what really matters most.
Don't worry, Barack can explain everything since that's just kind of what he does in these Final Fantasy adventures. He just doesn't stop talking most of the time.
Keep in mind that Ben also might go on what feels like an endless tirade against any boss fight we have with his subpar roasts.
Subpar, you say I might just get my roast game on you if that's the attitude you're going to be having with me.
Whoa, guys, there's no need to be doing a lot of arguing here. Do you always get like this when you play games together?
It actually happens quite often, but usually by the end of our gaming session, we're able to get over it.
Granted, it's usually you starting our arguments, but you were correct about it being a fairly common event. Don't take it too personally, though. If you're on the receiving end of it, George.
Oh, okay, good to know. I'll keep that in mind. And Ben, I don't mean this the wrong way, but why are you here? You're not really a president like the rest of us are, so I'm not sure why you're in the group.
Well, I started playing with Donald Joe and Barack back when we played the first Final Fantasy game, and continued on when they started playing golf together, although sometimes I do feel a bit out of place due to the lack of presidency for me. That's not really something that has impacted the group so much.
Besides, Joe has a hard time staying awake most of the time, so it's kind of like there's only 4 people here if you think of it that way.
What did someone say my name? I dozed off, but I'm back to commentating over our game of Chrono Trigger.
Joe, I don't really know what this game is about, but at least I actually know the title of the game. Are you doing okay, or do you need to sleep some more to get yourself more alert?
George, Final Fantasy 38 is going to be out by the time Joe sleeps enough to be half aware of his surroundings.
No, I promise I'm completely aware of what is going on in this game.
Okay, Joe, what is the main character's name? Joe, are you still alive there?
His name is Joe Biden.
How do you even mess that up that badly on a question like that?
Joe, do you need me to get you something to help you stay awake? This sounds like a pretty long game, and if you're having trouble a couple minutes in, I don't know how you're going to make it the whole way.
We all know he's not making it the whole way. You really have to lower your expectations a lot when it comes to him.
Barack, in an attempt to get these two off my back, can you explain what's going on at all?
I was just about to jump in with that, thank you. Cecil, as I mentioned earlier, is very conflicted on what he has done in the past, especially the scene where he killed people in Mysidia. So this is the point where he is going to start questioning the king.
Cecil is definitely wrong for questioning the authority of the king. A true patriot would go forth with no questions asked.
I'm sure glad the king isn't inciting him to storm any capitals. That would be really bad. I hope that doesn't happen here.
But hypothetically, if he did, then he should be able to go through with those orders with no regrets.
Somehow that doesn't sound right to me.
Hold up, guys. The king's giving these two a bomb ring. This isn't even subtle that the king is bad. It's just very clear that he's using them for nefarious purposes at this point.
Yeah, I can't really make sense of that. In some versions, it's called a carnelian signet, so it's a little harder to tell that what the king is doing is bad, although here there's nothing hiding the fact that the ring is used for nefarious purposes.
I think there was another guy with Cecil a minute ago. Who was he? He seemed kind of important.
That was Kane Highwind, Cecil's childhood friend and member of the Dragoons. He is iconic in the franchise for the stance he makes on some versions of the box art, along with influencing other Dragoons in games design.
But wait, who is this lady? Why is she so concerned with Cecil? Why are there so many presumably important characters that are showing up within the span of a few minutes?
Yeah, I can't figure out who any of these people are or what they're supposed to be doing.
Okay, since I have a moment with just exploring, the lady there was Rosa Farrell, Cecil's love interest and white mage, who is best at healing and defending the party, though she's not joining the party now.
Hey, Donald, do those prisoners down there remind you of all those people kept in cages at the border at all?
It's not like you let them all out or anything. Plus, since you're so bad with the border, I'm surprised you haven't let all of them out already.
Guys, stop talking. This is more important, yet another named important character that I assume we will have to remember.
This is Sid. He is part of a tradition where there's been a Sid in nearly every Final Fantasy game, though this is the first time he will be playable. Though again, not for quite a while, and even then, he's not that great in battle.
Okay, before we move on, are there any other really important things that we need to know? Or are we finally done with all of the things to pay attention to now?
I hope not, since I'm feeling like I need to take a nap after all of this explaining.
For once, we can't even make fun of you for that, since this has been quite an eventful few minutes for some of the characters in the game, and yet very little gameplay on our side.
Well, there are actually 2 moons in this world, and one of them is going to be very important later on.
I don't know how that's supposed to be important. Are we going to visit the moon or something? I've always wanted to be like that Neil Armstrong guy.
Joe, I don't think we're going to go to the moon. From what I've gathered, this seems like more of a fantasy-based setting like The Lord of the Rings, so I don't think space travel seems likely by comparison.
Okay, I suppose you're right. That would be a pretty weird thing to happen in this game. I'm thankful this world doesn't have its own space force, since that would be really dumb, especially if nobody is going to or from space.
Hey, the Space Force was a great idea, and you'd better believe this game would have sold way more if it had its own version of Space Force in it.
Donald, the idea of a Space Force is completely ludicrous, at least with branches of the military that we have there for specific purposes, whereas there is no proof of any threat of aliens that would constitute a Space Force being necessary.
Oh, thanks, Ben. When I want more unsolicited opinions from a non-president, I'll ask you later for sure.
Stop talking, guys. This is the important introduction for the game. Let's just hope it goes better than the last playthrough we did.
Hey, George, since you're the new guy here, do you want to be the one that starts us off here?
I wasn't really planning on it, but I suppose I could do that.
Yeah, I believe in you. You got this.
Just read exactly what it says, and I think we can make it through without any major issues.
And so the Dark Knight Cecil was stripped of his command as captain of the Red Wings. He and the Master Dragoon Kane head for the Foggy Valley and the Village of Mist.
We're actually getting through okay, and the sentimental moment hasn't fallen away yet.
Hey, Barack, I can do the next part here.
I feel like I'm going to regret this, but sure, go right ahead.
The advent of the airship marked the realization of Barron's dreams, but also the birth of Hunter Biden importing his illegal substances from around the world.
Wait, that's not what it says there.
And now the sentimental value has completely fallen apart.
It had to happen. I don't know what you expected from me after last time.
Okay, let's focus back up to finish this off. Now, as monsters multiply and stir unrest, Baron only exploits its power to collect the world's crystals.
This is only one word. Can I say this one at least?
Yeah, you might as well at this point.
Why?
Wow, I could hear you actually struggle to not come up with something awful to say, but you did it.
The crystals merely shed their light in silence, ...
Well, of course, they're going to be silent unless the crystals talk in this world. Barack, do the crystals in this world talk?
No, they do not talk. That was just kind of a weird line at the end.
Well, I think we did great. I'm very excited to actually start on our journey out of the castle without senseless death like the introduction of the game.
I think it would be best if we continued on without mentioning Hunter Biden's substance issues. Otherwise, it's just going to get really weird for the rest of the playthrough.
Now, don't worry, I hear about it a lot at this point.
Hey guys, what do you do to prepare in a game like this exactly? Like, how do you get stronger for later parts of the game?
Well, typically we fight enemies which come up randomly in the overworld, but there are also towns to visit, and they'll have equipment that we can use to become stronger. Plus, it's also good for the world building to see what's going on.
Plus, there are also some invisible spots that have items, and while we likely won't be using them much, if at all, it is good to show the viewers where they're at if they want to get them as well.
Wait, what do you mean by viewers? Are people going to be watching this?
Yeah, George, this is being uploaded to President's Central, one of many places where various political figures play video games together.
Why does it sound like advertising something that people are already watching? I'm not sure that's how that really works.
Sorry, sometimes we just have to break the fourth wall every once in a while to remind people how they're spending their time.
I don't know what walls you're talking about, but as long as people enjoy it, I think that's what matters.
Yeah, Donald also likes walls a lot, or mainly just the one that he didn't even finish building.
Hey, it would have been very successful if only Mexico did their part and paid for it like I planned on. Then it would have been fine.
Could have, would have, should have, but it didn't.
Joe, I need you to look away from this part for a little while for your own good.
Why, what's going on?
Oh no.
Oh my goodness, she's dancing. Guys, I don't know if I can handle this. This is the best game ever. Oh yeah, this is the best. Thank you, Barack, for playing this. No, please go back. I can't have it end like this. Whoa.
Joe, what is actually wrong with you? That was an insane reaction, and there is no way we are ever stepping foot in this town again.
Is he always like this when these games are being played? I don't understand why that would happen.
Usually it's not that bad. Typically it's just wanting to sniff Princess's hair, which isn't that much better now that I say it.
Chuck will dance for me. I'll take what I can get. Oh.
Joe, we're going to need you to calm down, otherwise you're going to drown out our insightful commentary with your insane ramblings.
Just go back to the dancer again and I'll stop. I can stop anytime I want.
Barack, please talk about the game while Joe calms himself down.
Thank you, Donald. The battle system in this game is different, as it introduces the active time battle system where each enemy and main character has their own speed and can attack when they're ready, instead of making all of the team's decisions at once, which has an interesting element of strategy where sometimes it's beneficial to wait for the right time to attack.
What was that setting you just changed a moment ago?
It was to make the settings for choosing attacks active instead of wait. The difference is the game will pause the progress of when characters will be ready to attack while choosing an option when it's in wait mode. But if it's in active mode, you have less time to make your decision.
This really sounds like a lot to keep up with, from the characters to the battle mechanics. I hope I can get a hold of everything so I can understand what we're watching.
Don't worry, I'm sure you'll be able to understand well enough. It might seem like a lot if this is your first time you're seeing this, but I'm hoping the game will give enough time to make sure you're not wondering what's going on.
I hope I don't regret asking this, but Joe, it's been a bit since you've spoken. Are you doing better now?
Yeah, I think so. Thanks for making sure I'm all right. I don't know what came over me.
Glad to hear it. Not because I enjoy your comments necessarily, but more so that you're not going insane over a bird creature and some dancer.
Hey, is there anything else we should be paying attention to now that I would need to know, or did we get through all of the major details?
Actually, yes. Each character has their own signature move. Kane's being to jump in the air and do more damage while also avoiding attacks, while Cecil can use darkness to hit more than one enemy while also hurting himself in the process. Though we won't be using those attacks much, so don't worry if you don't focus on that right now.
That's good to know, though. I do think that jump attack would be pretty useful. I can see why that darkness attack won't be used that often.
Hey, I was wondering, why exactly are we going through this one cave? Is there no other way to reach a town than to go through here? You'd think it would be more convenient to find a better way.
That does make sense, although based on what the map showed earlier, there's no real way of getting over that, I could tell. But I do agree with the sentiment that there should be a better way of getting through.
No, these towns and castles are very strangely far apart from each other and in very weird places. That'll be more obvious as we continue on, but if most of these places were in the real world, they would be uninhabitable based on a variety of reasons, though Barren seems okay since there's a town near the castle and nothing treacherous around it.
Sorry to interrupt, but there's something that clearly doesn't want us to be going through. Is this our conscience coming through, or are we going to have to fight something?
No, I don't think it's our conscience. I think there's something that's going to stop out progress, or at least it'll try.
The mist is gathering. Are we going to fight the mist itself?
It definitely looks like it. That was definitely unexpected. Is the rain going to start fighting us next, or maybe the condensation in the air becomes a boss battle?
Should I even bother asking how we're fighting mist, or does there exist a satisfying answer?
No, don't bother. Even while playing the previous game, this makes absolutely no sense, so there's no point in trying to rationalize this.
It's time to be strategical, everyone. The dragon will turn itself into mist, so if any attacks hit it, then the dragon will counter with another attack.
How does the dragon turn into mist? Isn't that already what it is? If it's turning into mist just now, then what was it before? Is there a harder mist that exists here?
The more you think about it, the less sense it will make. I think it's just better now to accept what it is and kill it, so we don't have to think about it anymore.
It should be solidifying now, so this is the moment to attack. Honestly, I'm not sure why I'm telling you all this when I'm the one playing the game exclusively, but I want to feel like you're all included.
It's nice for us to feel included, even if we're not really doing anything gameplay-wise.
Oh no, I forgot to get my roasting skills out when the fight started. Now I've missed my opportunity to absolutely destroy our enemy. But I swear the next major battle, they are going to wish they never met us.
I'd like to hear your roasts at least once. Maybe they'll make things more entertaining instead of just waiting for half the battle.
I've got to say, Barack, this part where there is absolutely no input necessary from the player, while we arbitrarily wait for the game to decide when we're able to participate, is such a fun way to experience a masterpiece.
I hate to ask this, but since this isn't bringing us anywhere, can we just skip to the end this one time?
All right, I see your point. I'll skip ahead now, but don't expect me to do that other times, especially the more important fights we'll experience.
Oh, thank you. I was getting so bored of that, George. I hope this doesn't come across as a bad first impression to the series. I imagine it will get a lot better from here.
Don't worry, I don't think it's bad. There's just a lot to take in. Since I'm new to the series, I believe it will get better too.
Now that we're done with the Mist Dragon, let's see if we can deliver the very not dangerous bomb ring to the other town.
Yo, what up, peeps? It's your boys, Donald Trump and friends. We come bearing gifts for you all. Well, mainly just one gift.
Is this glowing bad at all? I don't think rings are supposed to do that.
Oh yeah, the bombs are here. I haven't felt this way in a long time.
Barack, what's going on? Are you feeling the same way Joe did earlier?
No, I'm perfectly fine, believe me.
Barack, you have to get a hold of yourself. If I was able to, then you can too. I believe in you.
I believe in you less than Joe does, but you do have to get yourself together, otherwise you won't be able to guide us.
Wait, who is also here with us? Is she another villager?
I guess we're about to find out.
Ooh, is that another dancer guy? I don't think I can do it now.
No, Joe, that's just a child with green hair, which is very unusual.
Fighting the Mist Dragon killed her, unlike the boo-boo bombs. Ah!
You have to come back with this, please.
This group has completely fallen apart, and I don't know if it's humanly possible for this to get worse.
As long as we can calm down Joe and Barack, then I think we can make things easier for us outside of the game. But I'm not sure what we can do in the game itself.
Don't worry, guys. Oh, wow, I'm fine.
You are most definitely not fine, Barack and Joe. I'm going to need you to help me get Barack to stop going insane over the bombs.
No. I'm busy trying to get the ooze. You have to cooperate.
Can't we just use one of our items to revive her? I saw something earlier that said it was a phoenix down. Could that work?
For some reason, no. If it's plot related, they don't work. But if there are party members, then it's fine.
Wait, I just thought of something, Ben. If we have to fight this girl since she won't want to go with us, does that mean you'll have to bring out your roast game as you promised earlier?
Oh, no, you're right. I did promise.
This is a disaster.
Hey, girl, you look like one of the green-haired liberals I constantly owned. The only thing that is more fire than my roasts are the bombs that burned your village.
Bombs.
I hope you have family in another town, as this one has gone forever.
Girl,
You are not good at life, but neither was your mother's Mist Dragon or your mother.
Hey, guys, sorry about that. I don't know what came over me there. I hope things went okay.
Oh, it was fine. You went nuts over bombs. Joe went nuts over a girl, and Ben roasted a girl who lost her mother and village, all within the span of 2 minutes, in which a giant was summoned that destroyed the area even further.
That was all really weird. I hope you all are better now. I don't know how you manage to play these games sometimes.
I frequently wonder the same thing, but I'm better now. I have to be more careful not to make promises that will hurt others. But in all fairness, it's not like I could have predicted what happened.
Okay, everyone, I think I'm better now. I think I finally got a hold of myself. If we're going to be playing through this, I need to be a good role model, especially if the girl will be a party member.
Wait a minute, you're the President of the United States and you just now realized you had to be a role model. How did it take that long to figure that out?
Like I said earlier, you really have to lower your expectations when it comes to Joe.
Okay, now that we're all doing better, I'm going to ask Barack, what's going on with these two now that such an important even has happened in both of their lives?
Well, the even, that's what you called it. Most others would say it's an event where she had her home and mother taken from her, puts her in a strange place where Cecil and Cain are still responsible, despite not knowing they were pawns by their king. It's not good for either of them to really be near each other, but the circumstances lead them to a place where they have to work through it, even if it's not developed much past this scene.
That sounds pretty sad. It would be difficult for someone to be forgiven after what Cecil has done, even if he never meant for any of that to happen.
I suppose him fighting against the soldiers from Baron should show her that he does mean well, even if he had the worst first impression of all time.
I'll skip ahead a bit, but yes, you are right. This is a very unique scene in the series and is more complex than what was shown in the first few games, and even more than most later games too.
It is nice that they seem to able to work with each other enough to make progress despite the terrible place they've been put in together. I can only wonder what happened to Kane amongst all this.
The girl's name is Rydia. I'm sure she won't be thrilled to meet Kane later either, but maybe there will be some way they can move past all of this.
I don't mean to ruin the mood, but how is this girl going to be helpful in battle? It's not like she's a knight or a dragoon. She doesn't sound all that useful.
She summoned a Titan just a few minutes ago. I think she's capable enough.
She actually can't use him again for a while. We'll be getting some items in here, but they're not too important to show off now.
I suppose that's fine, as long as they're effective in battle.
Are you serious? Are we doing this again?
No, I got this. I can hold myself together. The dancer won't attract me.
This is still a train wreck, even if you're getting better.
I think we have to end this now. Thank you for everyone watching.
We'll keep the series going the whole way through.
And if the dancers are here, I'll be here too.
That's rather disturbing, but thank you for having me on. I look forward to seeing more.
Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe as well.
Next time, we're going through the desert and through the caves.
See you later, everyone.
Peace out, people.